hello, hello, hello. Coffee time. Yeah, it's not really a happy one today because, yeah, where do we start? This is coming out of Plymouth. I'm going to talk about that story. It's the first mass shooting in the UK for 11 years. I'm not going to mention the guy's name or show his picture because he don't deserve that kind of attention. But yeah, the fellow run amok yesterday evening in Plymouth. Um, yeah, shooting a number of people dead. I think it's five victims. One of them a young girl under 10, and I think he's put two people in hospital before turning the gun on himself. Thank God. Um, so yeah, it's not very happy story, but something you got to talk about because it's very unusual. Very unusual. Whereas we have shootings, mainly gangland type things, gangs shooting each other. It is very rare to have these mass shooter things happen in the UK, and so it needs our attention. And it's been revealed that this fellow, who was 22, held a gun license. Whoa, there you go. Now, this fellow, again, because it's the modern world, has a social media presence, and there are videos of him talking about the various things in his life, his life not turning out how he expected it to, and he's being portrayed in some aspects of the media as an incel. And they're using the myth of toxic masculinity, which has bugger all to do with this. Toxic masculinity is again, it's just a myth. It's a framing device to hide the true issues of what's going on. This is a mental health issue, and we need to ask, how did somebody who's, again, from what he said, and I've sort of watched some of his videos, was obviously suffering from depression. And it makes you ask, how do these people get access to firearms? Yeah, especially in the UK. It's not America. It's not America where we know you're all crazy, and it comes with a mass shooting every day keeps the doctor away, or whatever your saying is. But yeah, he's being portrayed as an incel. Was it involuntary celibate? That's a word unattractive people use to blame the world for their lack of pussy. Work on your personality. It's not your looks, it's your personality. If you have a personality, look at me. Look at me. Now, I was beautiful when I was young. I just got ugly. The evil leaked out into my face. But yeah, it's very sad, and we must think of the people who've been killed. People who didn't even see it coming. Now, I've always said to the missus, because the missus always says about things, and I say, well, look, you don't know what's coming around the corner. You really don't know. And these poor people, I'm going to talk about the victims. I'm going to talk about this fucking loser, because he's a loser. He said he was a loser, and he turned out to be a loser. But true losers, we know we're losers, and we can bear that weight on our shoulders because we're true men. That's real masculinity. Again, these people go on about toxic masculinity, but they expect men to fight the wars and do the dirty jobs and deal with things that they don't want to deal with. But this isn't toxic masculinity. This is a loser. This is a loser whose mental health went down and the system failed him. Let's talk about the people that he got. These people didn't see it coming. It was the end of the day for them. It was roughly 6 o'clock. This all happened in minutes. Literally about 3 or 4 minutes this happened. And the police were on the scene within 6 minutes. Now, Plymouth, it's the biggest city in the southwest, I think. I've been there. But it's not like London where you have congestion and one-way systems, and it can be very hard for police to get to places. But they were there in 6 minutes with an armed response team, which is pretty amazing. And the chief constable, Sean something. I watched him talking. He was very good. He explained how they got there in time, but he'd already turned the gun on himself. But those poor people didn't see it coming. they would have literally turned the corner, and this madman with a weapon was there. Again, he attacked someone, he killed somebody that was known to him. They're playing down the familial link. He then came out into the street and shot a little girl, and again, a man who was with her. Again, they're not talking about the familial link because they're hiding the identities just, so they can be in touch with all the families first, which is, again, is fair, spare them the agony of all of this. Then he shot 2 more people, and I think they're the ones that were in hospital. Then he went to a park, shot a man dead, shot a woman who died later in hospital before then turning the gun on himself. And like I said, this was all in a few minutes. This is just bang, 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 bang. And it was done. And what can we do? What can we do to stop this happening again? Well, again, we need to get rid of shotguns or whatever it was. He had 6 shots in that weapon. Thankfully, we don't have the firearms that we have in America and other parts of the world. But you really do need to look at how people get gun licenses, and they do need to be regularly, and I mean, every 3 months, assessed for their mental well-being. Especially when he is on social media talking about how, well, the world is against him. We all feel like that sometimes, but we don't go out. We don't go out and do terrible, terrible, terrible things. Again, some aspects of social media trying to portray it as, why isn't this being seen as a terrorist incident? Because it's obviously a domestic incident. I don't think it's born from a place of religious fundamentalism. But again, wait until they analyse his computers and mobile phone and whatnot. You never know, there might be, but I don't think it's that at the moment. This is somebody who's lost their mind and run amok and done a vicious, heinous series of murders because those poor people didn't deserve it. And when those names are released and those photos are released, we should remember them and forget this human waste, because that's what he is now. He's done this. Before that, everyone gets depressed. Everyone feels like the world's against them. But you don't get a shotgun and shoot the world. So that's what this is about. I can't really. These things bother me. They bother me because you never know, and I feel so sorry for those people, especially the little girl. Feel very, very sorry for them, because you never know. You never know what's around that corner, and you never know what lunatic, is out there. You never know. You never know. And yeah, so that's the story, and it is very unusual. We have very few mass shootings in the UK, and that's what makes it remarkable and horrific at the same time. And it could have been a lot worse. Again, if we had firearms like that in the US, it could have been a lot worse. But yeah, he shot as many people as he could, and that was it. That was obviously his mission. Vicious, nasty piece of filth. Times like this, you hope that there's a hell, and hope that this freak is burning in that hell. But don't blame it on toxic masculinity. That's not the issue here, And if there is a thing called toxic masculinity, it's because men aren't allowed to talk. Men are expected to meet certain criteria to be successful. Society has bred it. If it does exist, I don't think it does. It's like talking about toxic femininity. It's a nonsense. So yeah, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe I'll take this down. But it's just on my mind, and I don't really feel like being funny on a day like today, especially when I just watched the police announcement on the news. Yeah, so that's that. Thank you for watching. That's it.